You know, a gaming outlet such as The Gamer is saying that they're not going to cover Hogwarts Legacy with reviews or guides because they don't want to increase the Harry Potter IP's popularity, and they feel doing so legitimizes J.K. Rowling's controversial views. That's an interesting position to make when you have dozens of articles about all of the outrage that is going on surrounding the game. It feels like they're posturing. And it is extremely hypocritical, but that is the nature of all of the outrage surrounding this game right now, as it blows up all over social media and is the topic of conversation. It is also worth mentioning that The Gamer is owned by a company called Valnet, who also owns Game Rant, who has been doing endless guides and reviews for this game, so this is all just extremely funny to me. But what is not funny is some of the recent outrage surrounding this game, in which things are just continuing to blow up all over social media. It really is difficult to keep track of everything, but the best way to put this is that Hogwarts Legacy, we already knew that there's going to be a boycott campaign, and that's what happened prior to launch, and it ultimately failed. Then came the harassment of streamers, and now we've reached the point in which people are just going after individuals that they find online there talking about this game or showing any bit of excitement and throwing spoilers at them to try to, I guess, dissuade them from playing further and make them feel crappy. It really is ultimately just shocking how so many people are acting with this game, especially with the fact that Harry Potter has been making strides in all kinds of different areas outside of gaming the last couple of years since Rowling has become a controversial figure. But for some reason, there really hasn't been that much outrage with all of the other products, whether that be the Lego toys or isn't there like a Universal ride or something for Hogwarts? You don't see any mentions of that, but it's just this video game. It really is baffling everything, but things are escalating on social media. A lot of gamers are extremely pissed with how all of this is going down. We have certain activists just yelling at people because they're hiding their achievements and trophies from their friends and family because they don't want to be lambasted for playing a game that they just want to have fun in. That really is the ultimate goal that so many people have with video games. You know, it's a shocking thing. They want to have fun. They want to escape all the real life problems. And ultimately, I think a lot of people are going to do that. This game is already breaking Steam records. It's already breaking records with viewership on Twitch, and it's not going to be slowing down anytime soon. Yet the internet mob, the chronically online people, continue to have at it with Hogwarts Legacy, and things are getting nasty online. This is definitely the most controversial game release ever. I mean, we're living in a world right now in which logical balance takes such as the level infighting and hate in my feed this morning is heartbreaking. If you're boycotting Hogwarts, cool, boycott the game, not the players. Keep the focus on our shared fight. Forget her name. That seems pretty balanced, but no, they got ratioed, in which somebody said it's solidarity with trans people or funding hate. It's not that hard. And then we had a game developer, yes, you heard this right, an actual game developer saying, "You are a bad human being if you buy a video game," sending money directly to a woman who has gleefully stated publicly here on Twitter that anytime you spend money on her, she uses it to hurt people. You are voting with your wallet. You are saying bigotry is good. There's no way around it. You have the knowledge. Your actions have with that knowledge. They damn you, and some even more nasty words after that. But you know what's interesting about this game developer? What did they say about 2 years ago? It's okay to consume even value problematic media. I wonder what has changed since then. And furthermore, I've actually, about 2 years ago again, they said nobody is saying you're a bad person for liking media created by bad people or characters who do bad things. You're a bad person if you adopt those perspectives. Again, what has changed? That's my big question. Or is this just a, what's it called? Virtue signal? You be the judge of that. We have seen professional gaming outlets. I just cannot stop talking about The Gamer because they're so horrible. But yeah, games media has failed the Hogwarts Legacy test. All of the current flaws with games media were laid bare by a single game. You know what the issue is with the reviews for Hogwarts Legacy? It's the fact that they were not overwhelmingly negative, and they weren't all about Rowling. That was actually the big shocker in my opinion, but Warner Brothers went about this in a smart manner. They did not give review copies to the Kotakus, the Gamers, and the Polygons for that exact reason. And they did that because they know that these people were going to give them a 1 out of 10, in which we saw that happen, and again, we'll talk about that in a little bit. But the Gamer are just a bunch of annoying hypocrites, and they're also an example of why legacy media is dying dying, but this is just a stupid piece, and a lot of people have been going after IGN. A lot of people. We've been talking about this the last couple of videos. A lot of people extremely upset with IGN's. The basic gist of their review is, hey, we're going to review this game just on the fun factor. We understand J.K. Rowling, she is a controversial figure. They had this huge disclaimer, but that is not enough for anybody. It's not enough for these people. It's not enough for having an actual trans character in the game. Representation. I mean, hell, Hogwarts Legacy, let's be honest, it is one of the most inclusive, diverse games I've played in a long time, but yet that does not matter at all. It is important to understand the gamer with this article, they were talking about IGN. That is what a lot of people have been talking about online. We have viral posts in which one almost reached 100,000 likes. Yes, you heard that right, 100,000, in which they concentrated on all of the negative things IGN said in their review while not talking about any of the positives. And they pretty much made it out to be that, yeah, IGN rigged this, it was a paid review. We had another account pretty much just say that exact same thing, and that also got a ton of likes and retweets. And then we actually had the author, the IGN reviewer himself, respond to this indirectly on his own Twitter account, saying it's almost like criticism can be nuanced, and even games that are legitimately awesome aren't without their issues. And they also push back on some of these narratives that people are making about their own reviews, saying, riddled with issues, horrible bugs, but I like it anyway because of my fandom, things I did not say in my review. And indeed, IGN has been targeted by many Twitter accounts, but also a lot of professional colleagues, such as the Gamer's editor-in-chief, calling them out for their review. We actually had a supposed former IGN employee saying video games aren't really my lane, but when I was reviewing comics for IGN about 10 years ago, we were in fact not really allowed to give bad reviews. This was somebody supporting the notion that there could have been paid reviews. It really is baffling what is happening here. You know, the whole ethics and journalism crowd, years ago they were lambasted, they were criticized, there were narratives made about them, but now it's being brought back by the exact crowd that denounced those, and it's just, this whole situation is a mess. It really is. And the one thing I do need to concentrate, because this is the main topic of this video, reviews are changing with Hogwarts Legacy. We saw overwhelmingly positive reviews, but here are some of the recent ones that just came about in the last number of hours. The Loadout, Hogwarts Legacy review, often magical, usually troubling. And again, you know where this review is going. I went in my playthrough of Hogwarts Legacy with both skepticism and hope. At the very least, the goblins fighting for their freedom wouldn't be vilified quite as much as I expected they would be. Nothing Hogwarts Legacy does can mask the comments made by JK. They leave a sour note on every moment of enjoyment the game offers. However, this is still a chance of Hogwarts to promote a message of equality. What a weird thing to bring up. Even if it isn't the one we all hoped they would rally behind and promote pre-release, in spite of the universe's creator, but ultimately it's a chance Hogwarts Legacy doesn't take. I don't really get this narrative that people are making that the goblins had to be good in this game. And there are some good goblins, and that's something that everybody keeps bringing up, but yes, there are bad goblins. Is that something that games are not allowed to have anymore? It's truly bizarre in my opinion, and the Loadout gave the game a 7 out of 10, and one of the core reasons they gave it this score was because of a questionable narrative. PC Gamer actually gave the game an 83 out of 100, and they said the best game in Harry Potter history, but a hard one to be excited about. And again, it's the same thing. Hogwarts Legacy had a firm grasp of my brain throughout. I'm also unfortunately been thinking about J.K. Rowling. It's an uncomplicated things when games are good. We like them, they surprise us, I write about it, but I have complicated feelings here. I'm enjoying a game that's an extension of Rowling, a powerful person who used their platform to make all of those types of comments. Although Hogwarts Legacy isn't written by J.K. Rowling, still it's built upon the world that she created and inherits some of its problems, particularly its portrayal of goblins and house elves. Again, we just keep bringing that up in all of these recent reviews. GamePer, another outlet, they gave the game a 7.5 out of 10, and they said Hogwarts Legacy is a good game trapped in a cursed IP, and the final paragraph it's astonishing in my opinion. Ultimately, setting Hogwarts Legacy in the world of Harry Potter makes it a troubling object, and one Rowling and the bad faith actors who espouse their views have done entirely themselves. It comes down to players asking themselves if they can look beyond these issues and bubbling hate simply to play a video game, says the video game website. Okay, and again, one of the core issues they write in their review is the Harry Potter property and everything around it remains the main problem. So those were just some of the recent reviews, but the big one everybody is talking about, and I was talking about on my own Twitter account, is the one from Wired magazine, in which this is disgusting journalism. This is why a lot of people are against the modern day journalism. It gives a horrible reputation to so much of this medium. Wired magazine, a 1 out of 10 review. They said, "There is no magic in Hogwarts Legacy. The game is mid at best, and its real-world harms are impossible to ignore." When I went online and brought this up on Twitter and said that this was agenda-driven nonsense, a lot of people were very upset with my characterization of this. I don't know where I went wrong with that, because if you're going to say the game's mid, how are you going to give it a 1 out of 10? And there is no extreme details here, because the whole review concentrates on Rowling. Of course, there are criticisms of the gameplay and such, but there isn't clear examples. It's a very short piece, and the author of this piece, you want to know what they reviewed recently in terms of video games? They didn't. They reviewed adult toys recently, 2 adult toys, that is it. And again, these people, Wired magazine, they do factor into the Metacritic score. I haven't seen Hogwarts Legacy pop up yet, but it probably will in the future, and that is just disgusting. It's an insult to the game developers, the people that put so much passion and hard work into this. But this article is just, it's so stupid. The story is rooted in anti-Semitic tropes. The gameplay feels dated. The graphics feel like they're a couple generations behind. That is just, how do you even say that? All the characters are one-dimensional. I actually think the characters are phenomenal. It doesn't stay true to the established lore. It does change some things, I agree. Every character feels like an off-brand version of the characters we know and love. There's no sense of place, no magic, no heart. And it starts off saying, "Yikes, y'all." Oh, God. As you do get down to the meat of this article, it's everything I imagined it to be. It concentrates almost all of its words on Rowling. It says nothing with a Wizarding World stamp on it can be viewed outside the context of it being a product of Rowling. And then when it actually does bring up gameplay and talks about any of that stuff, it says the game deviates from the source material. It looks and feels dated. Every character just feels like an animatronic Chuck E. Cheese robot. The game has a lackluster art direction, one-dimensional characters. The world is lifeless, and the story is muddy. That is the review of Hogwarts Legacy. They talk nothing about combat, no actual specifics. It's just all suspiciously absent. They do note in this review of the story being rooted in anti-Semitic, that type-ism, but again, they don't go into any specifics. They do note in this review section that for that reason alone, the reasons I just brought up with all of the gameplay and story, you know, again, absent of actual specific details, that they can't in good conscience recommend spending your money on it. Combined with who this game helps and who it harms, well, it definitely is not worth it unless your goal is to cause harm. And then the final major paragraph seems like a big FU to the actual employees and workers at Avalanche Software, saying, "In the yawning emptiness at the heart of Hogwarts Legacy, I see the quiet solidarity of queer people and our allies in game development, the people who just said no when the job offers came their way, the ones who did not answer the emails from Portkey Games, the ones who politely let their coworkers know that working on a Harry Potter game would be harmful to the trans community, the ones who listened and said, okay, yeah, thanks for letting me know, the people who put their morals and their loved ones above an easy paycheck." Now, I do have to mention a couple of things about this individual, the author behind this piece. I just find it hilarious that they set up an alt account just a couple of days ago for this as Twitter account, and they also put all of these spoilers of Hogwarts Legacy on their main profile because they want the individuals that checked out this article and are very upset about this to go to their profile and see that. And they also constantly tweeted out stuff that they were happy that players and streamers were being harassed and bullied with this, which is just disgusting. But the editor-in-chief actually of Wired magazine backed this up, this review, saying in a tweet, "Even if you're a Hogwarts Legacy fan, read this review and try to hear what it's saying. This gets deep inside some of the paradoxes of Rowling's fandom, as well as making a key point about how much the games industry depends on queer creators." And as Tom Henderson, a very good video game journalist and insider in my opinion, says, "It's an actual embarrassment something like it was allowed to be published, to be honest." And I think it's a disgrace, this editor-in-chief. It really just throws their integrity out of the window, and I truthfully hope that other publishers boycott Wired magazine, do not give them early copies, any copies, because this is disgusting yellow journalism. And honestly, that is the nature of all of the coverage that is happening with this game right now. It's very much rooted in this dumb perspective that's been going around the last couple of days that the game does not deserve to be reviewed based on its actual content, but instead all of the outside noise, the outside politics. A dangerous position in my opinion. We talked about this last video in which a major YouTube channel, Girlfriend Reviews, they're very progressive with their views and they're very wholesome content. And we had the girlfriend crying because she was being attacked by her audience for streaming the game, even after they went on Twitter saying they were going to donate all the funds they make from the stream to a trans charity. That was not enough. And since then, we have seen a lot of individuals go after them, saying that they were extremely happy that they were treated this way. And they also said that if they were truthfully progressive, they wouldn't be playing Hogwarts Legacy. It's just so bad. And you know exactly who went after them, the gamer, saying, let's talk about that people for playing Hogwarts Legacy. The big news in the wake of Hogwarts' launch is that a cisgender white girl cried about it. Very interesting they bring up that white girl part, but anyway, nothing should surprise me with the Harry Potter game, but I will admit this is a bold new direction. Trans people and their allies are now that. For explaining why they don't support the game, victim cosplay is back in fashion. I get a sense that was kind of sarcastic there, but then they continue saying, was this person that? Did they actually even cry? Neither of these things have any real proof behind them, and yet this is one of the main news stories on the launch. The boyfriend elects to stay on stream and finish the combat area, suggests he was not in, well, she was not in the extreme emotional anguish others have tried to paint this as. I don't know, it's very clear from that clip that she was in tears from how she was being treated, but sure, let's downplay this, the gamer. There's also no chat in the clip being circulated, meaning we don't know if the team are upset by asking reasonable questions about their decision to support the game that they do not want to answer for, and then they even admit, the gamer in this piece, that they do not account for deleted comments, so they don't know exactly what's going on in that chat. And they even make mention, Girlfriend Reviews, of some of the nasty things that are being called TERFs and such, views that I don't think that they align with, because they are quite clearly for trans rights, but yet they're being treated like absolute dog shit. But indeed, it was not just outlets downplaying how this streamer was treated. We had accounts saying, give money to TERF, get called out for supporting the TERF, act like a victim. We had somebody saying, get effed, LOL. We had another account saying, you deserve this. Not only is it not a good game, but you cannot be progressive and ignore all of the that and the hate the Harry Potter series gives a platform to. Anyway, right now, the Hogwarts Legacy outrage train continues. Like, we have posts such as this going viral online. I really hope you die for playing that wizard game. We have somebody else saying, I'm sorry you were deeply invested in the wizarding world as a child. I was deeply invested in the American Imperial War Machine as an adult, so much so that I did that for it and will spend the rest of my life trying to make amends. You're not a kid anymore. It's time to, what does that mean? How does that have anything to do with Harry Potter? A supposed actual Hogwarts Legacy developer has boycotted their own game. I'm not making this stuff up. They actually showed their name in the credits saying that they will not purchase the game. It's the least they can do to be an ally, which is just a hilarious thing to do because they likely blacklisted themselves from most of the games industry. But sure, make a mockery of your coworkers' hard work by boycotting a game that you worked on yourself and contributed to. The logic here makes absolutely no sense along with their explanation. Former BioWare developer had almost 70,000 likes before he privated his account saying, as a game developer, I just want to say please don't use supporting the devs as an excuse to buy that type of wizard game. The devs already got paid. You aren't supporting them with your purchase. Don't use us as a prop in your arguments. And we actually did see a former Avalanche software developer, Troy Levitt, respond to this saying, as a game developer who worked on the game, I just want to say Jason's wrong. Many members of the dev team have compensation packages tied to the game's reception and performance. Sales of the game do in fact support the devs. And this is again just a clear example of the misinformation that constantly is going around in terms of Hogwarts Legacy. Just people, journalists, game developers making up all kinds of lies about every aspect of this game. But anywho, I have to imagine the developers at Avalanche Software and publisher Warner Brothers are extremely ecstatic by the record-breaking game launch that they are having right now. This is a true behemoth, one that is too big to fail now. But Hogwarts Legacy is one of the biggest games in years, most controversial one, and I want to know your thoughts on the game. Have you played it? What do you make of it? And what do you make of all the controversy and the now review bombing of it? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below, but thank you for watching. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy this video or if you found any informative value, and make sure to follow my other social media accounts for updates on new videos. Links are always down the description below. I'm most active on Twitter, giving opinions on news that I do not always get into video form, so do make sure to follow me over there. Also check out my Discord for all sorts of discussion on games. And again, thank you for joining. Consider subscribing for more videos like this, and I'll see you later.